Hey guys, today my video is going to be all about road trips, my advice for road trips, what we pack for road trips. As you know, we took a 24-hour road trip in this past spring, and we had never gone really any further than probably 2 to 3 hours with our kids in the car, and that's probably stretching it. I will say that do a ton of research. Like for us, we were going a popular route. We were going from New England to DisneyWorld. So there was basically two routes we could take. There was one that kind of went a little bit more inland, and then there was one that went straight down 95. Now going through 95, we were going to be hitting lots of major cities, tolls, things like that. However, it's like straight shot. You don't even have to put a GPS in. You just know, follow 95. We decided after doing a lot of research to take the more inland route. We do not like city driving, and obviously we were trying to save money as much as possible. And although the 95 route is technically supposed to be shorter, it's not, because you always end up getting stuck in traffic. I'll also say do your research on it, because a lot of people told us when to leave. So a lot of people said either leave at like dinner time or at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Because if you do it that way, then you kind of miss all of the major areas that you do go through, and you miss like their, lunch rush, their morning rush hour, and then their evening commute home. So what we did is we followed what everyone said. We left around 3 a.m. We left New Hampshire, and we got to Charlotte, North Carolina around 6:45 that night. We ended up staying in a hotel, and then we woke up the next morning at like 3 or 4 again, and we were to Disney by 12:30. For us, we learned that we don't sleep well in other places, and the hotel was like a 4-star hotel on all these travel sites, and it said it was fine, but like we get there and it just didn't seem to be in the best area. There's all these warnings like don't leave anything valuable in your car. The room was not as clean as I would have liked it, and basically I didn't sleep. I slept like maybe like 1 or 2 hours. Same thing with our kids. So we kind of wasted like $80 that way. It is what it is. But so we learned that, next time we would drive straight through, and then we did end up driving straight through the way back home, and we much prefer that. Anything over 24 hours, obviously I think you would need to cut up, because it would just be too much driving. But whatever works for you. Also, I think that if we had decided to leave at dinner time, then we would have had to stop, because you kind of have that like, you've been up for a full day now, and then you're going to go and drive for 24 hours straight. Like for me, I just don't feel safe putting myself, my kids in a car with me being sleep deprived or anything like that. So there's like the logistics of it. I'll say that make sure that you call your debit company, your bank, your credit cards, whatever you plan on using for your gas, because we called and they still ended up freezing it at one point in time, and we had to call and say, yep, it's us, we're on the road, we're traveling, blah, blah, blah. So for us at the time, I'd have to look, but I think gas was in between the $2 and $2.50 range per gallon. I drive a Honda Odyssey. It's not the best on gas. My husband had done like a tune-up to it, looked it all over, checked our tires, checked our brakes, checked everything, and made sure everything was all set before we traveled. And we were averaging like 25, 26 miles per gallon, and we paid about $400 in gas to get down there and back, and have a little bit of gas when we were there. And in all honesty, when we got back, I think we had like a half to 3/4 of a tank for me to use the following week. So gas, in all honesty, wasn't too bad. If you have a car, it'll be a lot less, but we drive a big minivan loaded down with 6 people in it, and then we had all of our luggage and all that stuff. We packed a lot of like snacks. So I went to like Target, and I got some Pop-Tarts and donuts and Uncrustables and fruits and granola bars, fruit snacks, chips, all that stuff. And I basically packed each like the girls together and the boys together, I packed them like a huge bag of food, of tons of snacks, of treats, of like special candies, of their sandwich for lunch, and you know, all that. So the only thing that we had to get when we were out is we stopped at a Walmart and we got mayonnaise, lunch meat, and cheese for Jeff, Trevor, and I, because my oldest son does not like peanut butter and jelly, and I'm allergic to peanut butter. So that worked really well because we kind of like, you know, broke up the car ride a little bit. We all walked around a store a little bit. It was just nice to kind of like unwind a little bit. And then when we were in the store, we let all the kids like get like a candy bar or something like that. And, you know, just something different for them, something we don't normally do, and something to kind of like boost everyone's spirits up a little bit. So food was pretty much bought. I did stop and get coffees, and then whenever I would get a coffee, I would get the kids like a donut or some donut holes or something like that as just like a treat for them. And then I would also get my husband a donut. And that worked pretty well for us. I felt, I don't know, it was just something to break it up. Every time we stopped for gas, my husband would fill up the car and like check everything and make sure everything was still good. And then I would take the kids out and we would walk the perimeter of the gas station. If we were in a busy city or a busy area, I would walk inside the gas station and walk the kids around and just like do like walking squats or whatever, just something to get their like blood racing. And then we would all go to the bathroom, you know, wash our hands and everything, and then we would all get back in the car. We were constantly moving everybody around so nobody was in the same position, no one was getting stuck in the same place, you know, everyone was getting to see different views, see the movie better, whatever. And I'll say that worked pretty well too, because it kind of like, you know, the kids would kind of get sick of each other and want to be separated, and that worked really, really well for us. What else can I say? As for what we brought, so my van has a DVD player in it, so we had tons and tons and tons and tons of DVDs, some DVDs that they had never seen before. That worked really, really well for us. We were constantly changing over the DVD so that they had different things to watch. After a video, we would normally turn off the DVD player, pull the DVD out, to give our DVD player a rest, and to also just kind of like give them a little bit of a rest, so that we were constantly changing whatever we were doing. So we were constantly trying to change where they were sitting, what they were doing. So we would basically do like DVD time, and then we would do just kind of like quiet time, and that means if you want to fall asleep you can, or if you just want to look out the window or whatever. And this was a nice break for mommy and daddy to get to hear the radio a little bit, you know, whatever. We would do like games, you know, after that. So we would do like, you know, alphabet game or whatever, and talk to them. You know, we had pulled up some like tags on YouTube and stuff like that, and we were asking the kids questions for that. We were asking my husband that, my husband was asking me that, to keep, you know, talking in that situation. So then we also had like coloring books, activity packs, crossword puzzles. We did have some books, but I wouldn't recommend those. My kids all get car sick in the car with reading, gives them headaches, makes them feel nauseous. So we kind of skipped that. And in all honesty, we had to really like be careful with the coloring, because my kids do all get that like motion sickness or whatever. And then they also had like, Trevor had his iPad, Aubrey had her phone, the little kids we had the DS's, we had the boogie board, which you can like write on.